Hi everyone, welcome to the second session of Power BI video lectures. So last session we dealt with Power BI basics, and now today we will go through each visualizations in detail. So let's start the topic. Today also we are dealing with the same data for the first few visualizations, and afterwards when to do more complex visualizations we need more complex data. See, since our data is very limited, the visualizations that we can perform using this data is little. So first we are going to learn about the bar chart. Bar charts are pretty simple concept, but it's a very powerful visualization to show many information at once. So we have various bar charts, which are stacked bar chart, stacked column chart, and clustered bar chart and clustered column chart, and we have 100% stacked bar chart and 100% stacked column chart. So in order to understand the difference, I will create a single bar chart with the same XY axis, and that visualizations we will change it. So we can understand how same data is represented using different visualizations. What is the impact of that visualization. So for that to start, I'm starting a stacked bar chart. So I have a stack bar chart over here. Now bar charts are a standard for looking at a specific value across different categories. So how you can see a value through different categories, that is easily visualized in bar charts. So to create the bar chart, what we are going to do is that we have item in the x-axis. One second. We have items in the y-axis and count of items on the x-axis. And now I am going to add a legend. Legend is the categories we are going to add is the weather condition. So we are going to find out how the number of items sold is related to weather conditions and how many items are sold on a particular weather conditions. So I hope you can see that clearly. Now first let's understand what is distributed here. We have few weather conditions like clouds, rain, sunshine, thunderstorms and wind. And now we have a item name, vegetables. So just let me just increase the font of the item in y-axis so that it will be little bit visible. So I hope you can see the item list over here, vegetables. And the colors, the legend. So if we increase the value, legend is on and legends we can see. Legend text is increased. Okay. Now the blue color includes the clouds. So what does it mean? What does this visualization means? If you hover over this, you can see in cloud weather conditions there is a POS ID, point of sales ID. The count of POS ID is how many items are sold. 4 sets of vegetables are sold. In rainy conditions there was 5 items sold, and on sunshine the obviously the sale was high and it is 8 items. Same as with all the things. So this information is visually implicated in this. So it's a pretty straightforward idea, just showing what is the information, and this information is visually distributed. Now we can always increase the readability to identify what is happening over here. So just show the table. So from we what this will automatically generate the table from which this bar chart is done. So the vegetables, the number of vegetables set that is sold in a particular condition for milk, soda, domestic eggs, yogurt, and that items is readily visible. This information is actually fetched from our table and data is created and bar chart is created. So I hope it's clear. So we are now back. Now this information, this is a particular visual. Same information, what we can just select the visual, and if I select over here, this was stacked bar chart, this is stacked column chart. Same information is just converted, our y axis is different and the visual appearance is different. Now we can actually, you can change it. This is stacked. Why it is saying stacked? Because it is one over the other. So a total value can be found out and individual values can be read from the chart. Now you have clustered identity. So what happens with the clustered identity, even if it is not properly visible? Let's try this one. Here what happened is that same information, but rather than stacking each cluster, each color combination is clustered to show the value. So that is why. So same information which is more visually appealing, we can use it. So information over all these visualizations were same, but as you can easily see, the stack chart is much better in this particular situation. It gives more visibility. Exactly speaking, this one stacked bar chart is best rather than stacked column chart. Now, so these are just four xy axis differences there, and the way it is represented is clustered column chart is this one. Now this is a new concept where you can see, if you go over here, it is the deprecated on, as the name is, you can see it's 100% stacked bar chart. So this actually shows a percentage value of particular quantity. So if you can drag over the data, you can see the in the weather condition cloudy, count of POS ID is for vegetables is 4, that is 19.5%. This particular information, we will receive this percentage information only when we create percentage stacked bar chart, and it is pretty similar with the, we can create the column. So what is that? The whatever be the count, every count is said to be 100%. So on depending on how many items out of this 100% is sold on a particular day, this visualization is created. Now you can see how this table is formed on this particular thing. See, it is exactly same as a previous table, only the way we represent data is changed in all these visualizations. So how do we select? It is based on the type of data, the type of visualization that we want to project. So that is where the job of an analyst comes, to learn about the data, to understand what it is, and to make it more visually appealing and meaningful. The data set, if I drag over different things, the data table is not at all changing actually. Only the visualization part is changing, because there is difference happens only on the way it is represented. For a particular kind of data, which visualizations is proper, that is what we have to find out. Moving on to the next visualization, that is line graphs. Line graphs, area graphs, and we have combined area graphs combined with line graphs combined with bar charts. So the visualizations are line chart, area chart, stacked area chart, line and stacked column chart, and we have line and clustered column chart, and lastly we have something called as ribbon chart, which has certain unique features along with this area and line charts. Okay, first the simplest one is line chart. So this is a line chart that is created. I will just show you how this particular chart is created. So we have, and as I said, the previous data that we have loaded is a pretty simple data. It has very limited fields, so we cannot show all the visualizations. Now for this particular kind of visualizations, I have a data which is a superstore data which contains a wide variety of information like city, country, order date, order id, postal code, product id, profit, and what is the sales. And we since we have profit, sales, we can find its ratio, the region, segments, and like that. So the data is very vast. So let's see how we incorporate that data into visualizations. So for the line chart sample on super case, we have first we select our visualization. So the visualization is there, and we need to drag and drop the necessary fields into it. So x-axis we will have region. So region is over here. It will come into x-axis part. Then for the y-axis, I am taking sum of profit. So we have a sum of profit over here. Now since we can see it's a pretty simple chart. What it is saying, we have a region east, it has a profit of $5,244 or something, like only those information. Now we have some other info about this data, that is this superstore has different segments, that is for homeowners, corporate, and consumer goods, like that. So let's see what are the segments. So to this data we can add a legend which is on based on segments. Now what happened is our profit, when we add that legend, you can see the single profit. Once more, let's divide. So we have three segments: consumer, corporate, and home office. If there is no legend, so we have a single value on different regions. So what is this table consist of? It's a very pretty simple table which has east has a sum of profit of this amount, west has this is the sum of profit, this is, and we have the central. Now when we add legend to it, what happens to the table? We can see it's actually takes the profit data and divides it further. So now where we have east has consumer segment has this is the profit, and so this is the profit, so that division is happening. That is what the purpose of segments. We already will develop a data visualization, and we have a one more category to which this visualization can be divided. That's where the concept of legend comes. So let's go back to the report. Now this is, I have just changed the fonts and everything for more clear view of it. So if we drag over here, we can say what is the consumer second numbers are visible with its color combinations and everything. So I hope it's clear. It's really pretty straightforward concept. Now this data can be represented in a area. One second, sorry. This exact data, just select it. Same data sets we can represent on a area basis. So it just shows how much the variations and variants are working. So what is the difference of it? So when you have a basic area chart, it is also known as layered area chart. It is actually always based on a line chart. So the uh, area chart, what is the purpose? It really shows the volume of that particular line charts. So we can see the magnitude of change over here. See just the difference is that when we have visualizations, these lines simply don't read to. So more visually appealing is just information is same, but we can simply say that this particular home office has a pretty large amount of thing is taken. Corporate segment takes a very less into our profit ratio. So from the area of that color, we can easily identify the segments and everything. So that's what we say. Then we have stacked area chart, where we know the difference between the bar charts we already seen in at the beginning of this particular tutorial, the how the stacked concept as well as the um, clustered concept change. That the similar difference is coming with this area chart as well as stacked chart. So you can see here 25k is the maximum thing. But when you have the stacking concept, actually it finds out the total of a particular value. So on each area, total is the consumer, corporate and home office finds comes up to a total of 50k. That information is available from stacked area chart. If we are much bothered about the totaling of a particular segment or a region, stacked area charts are best. So if you need to really know what is happening over the tables, you can easily see that table is not at all changing. So we have stacked area chart and we have the area chart. The table from which both are calculated is the same. The only thing is that the data represented is varying. I hope it's clear. Now let's move on to the same concept. This segment, so we have three information: what is a profit, on what regions, and what are the segments. Same information, we can actually move on to this kind of thing. So now what happens that the area, same information is again moved to this particular line stack chart. Okay, now we are moving on to this concept where we call it as line and stacked column chart, where we have two different informations on a same table. For that, what we have is, let's create this chart visualization from beginning. So first we have to drag and drop the particular visualization. So the visualization is there. Okay, before going to how to create the chart, let's see something. What is actually a line stack chart? Line and stacked column chart. This is also known as a combo chart. Why? When we use a combo charts are a great choice when we have certain situations, when you have a line chart and a column chart with the same axis. So we have two different informations that is created and the x-axis is same. So since one axis is the same, we can actually combine both the charts to compare multiple measures with different value ranges. So we have same information, but it can move on different range values. For example, here our main information is profit, but the profit has two different informations. That is, the profit changes through the segments as well as the regions. That is, we have a profit in a region, say west, and a segment corporate. So the corporate segment is in all four regions, but the west itself has a single corporate segment. Now we have profit measure in all these cases. So such situations we can use a combo chart. Then it can be used to illustrate the correlation between two measures in one visualization. So what is one visualization? So we can simply relate to that. We can, where if we drag and drop over here, we can actually see the segment consumer has a profit of this particular value, and if we actually select this, what is the number of orders in a segment consumer in region west is there. So a single line, the line chart gives us the profit of a particular consumer in a particular area, where this particular information gives how many orders are. So number of orders, the relationship between the sum of profit, that multiple relation correlations can be shown. So let's see what does the table of this particular visualization defines. So it actually divides into number of orders, how many orders are in each region, as well as with the segment, and what is the profit that we receive in each segment. So that is what we say as it can illustrate the correlation between two measures in one visualization. Then to check whether one measure meets a target or declined by other, so it's a self-explanatory concept. You can see which segment is much higher. So consumer segment takes a lot of profit actually, and since the profit is high, the number of orders are so high, or vice versa. Since when the number of orders are high, the profit tends to be give a high value, and then it can converse a canvas space. So it's very visually appealing, and this chart itself, take a chart itself can speak volumes of it. That is what we say, it actually has a good conversational ability. So that's what the combo chart. So the properties of line chart can be combined with the properties of bar chart. So let's see how this chart is created. Let's start from nothing. Now what we have is, we have x-axis, and x-axis I had that corporate segments are, which segments are available. So in x-axis I put with the segments, and now in y-axis I can see I would create something like a column y-axis is there and line y-axis. We can see there are two different graphs in a single graph itself. So column y-axis is where we create the bar chart. So we can say I am putting order ID over here. So it will just take how many orders are there. Sorry, it's not the column legend, it's the order ID on column y-axis. So number of orders will come according. Now I have to create my line graph. So my line graph had sum of profit. So we have to select the profit over here. So it created the sum of profit. Now what we can do? We can actually have legends in both the cases. And let's see, column legend will divide actually, what it will divide, it will show how the columns are divided on this. So I can again divide it into regions. Columns are already divided in terms of columns are created using segment. Now I am dividing each column into the regions. Okay, there was something missing over the last example that's given. That is, the sum of profit was not visible in everything. So that is what we call it as tooltip. So if we need that particular information in every, whenever we hover over the thing, what we have to do is that there is a field over here in data visualization where we add it is, so we have something known as tooltips. So where you can actually visible wherever we click it, sum of profit information along with the other information is made visible. So if you particularly see, what does that orange color indicates is, it's a consumer in the south region, where we have a count of total order, number of total orders were 444, and the sum of profit from that particular segment or that particular region was 14,514 rupees or something. Okay, so I hope it's clear. Now moving on to the same concept can be visually made the similar way. We can actually change it into a clustered field. So here already we learned about the bar chart. So there is nothing. Stacked bar chart will be totaling everything. Clustered bar chart will actually show the data independently. So the total information is not readily available. To get a totaling information, we need the stacked bar chart. Now, the last visualization that we are going to see in this session is something called as ribbon charts. So, this is one of the ribbon charts where from this particular kind of data. Now, moving on to the other ribbon charts that has a large amount of data is this one. One second. We have to particular always when we have to just change the visuals, we have to select the particular visual. Okay, so this ribbon chart, so it seems very you think that we cannot understand anything, but actually what happens is that this ribbon charts ranks the data. So let's see about what is a ribbon chart. We can create the ribbon charts to visualize the data and quickly discover which data category has the highest rank or the largest value. So we don't need to find out which has the largest, which is the smallest, and what is the rank on each region and everything. A ribbon illustrates how the value of a data category changes over a visualized time period. So the ribbon connects a different category. So rather than saying let's see what is happening, if you can see, east consumer sum of profit and west consumer sum of profit, and they have a sum of profit changes 12% over there. So we have a rank, west consumer and east consumer, both of them are ranking 1. So who has a lesser consumer charge? So moving on here, this one is the second. West and South goes for the second ranking. And then we have the West Home and South Home Office ranks for the third ranking. Why we have two different ranks is two different information. That is, the region and segment is given. That is why that kind of ranking is variant in different fields. So actually what is the rank change happens on, so this one we have the different, so it's like the Venn diagram you have. When you have a single color, it just shows one information. When you have a one, how many areas are connected, so just it shows the east consumer rank and west consumer rank. Now you need to find out what is the rank for east home office, west home office is there. Now see if you can actually drag over here. Okay, so you can see east corporate and west corporate. Now different regions with same segment ranking is given. So just same as the Venn diagram concepts in maths, we can actually drag over here. When we have a single color, when it is not combining with, there is no ranking. That is, single information is given. Otherwise, you can easily drag over there and find out the values and which one is the best one. So either it will give on an increasing order, and so you can see the info is same. The information is not at all changing in any stage of this data. From single information, different kinds of visualization is done. A ribbon chart is actually a combination of ribbons for multiple categories. So the ribbon is like a flow, and the how the data changes over the flow is shown, and the next ribbon for the next categories. So when it is like a flow, the where they have a combination, they will connected. So it category ranks through the span of charts x-axis values. So ribbon chart is effective in always showing how a rank can change. So the important information is when we hover over the visualization, we will see the ranks in the ribbon chart. So we have dealt with most of the visualizations, that is using on based on bar chart, line chart, and the next session we can see few more visualizations and then move on to the other topics on how we actually do the create the report. Now we are dealing with visualizations in detail, that is why I'm actually creating each visualizations in single page. When we actually, what you may have seen different dashboards, that is actually a combination of visualizations. So we find out our data, how it has to be visualized, then we create a dashboard. In a single dashboard we have to include as many as information that are visually understandable, and it should have the correlation, so that from that particular dashboard and report a business manager can take a information. That is the purpose of uh, business analytics, or we can say business intelligence in this purpose. Anyway, thank you. Let's deal with other visualizations in the next session. Thank you, everyone.